What's up, everybody? Ben Reza here for OddsShopper. Happy March Madness. Happy March Madness. The tournament is here. The bracket is set, and I'm here to tell you a couple tips, tricks, easy things that you can do to put yourself in a little better position to win some money, whether it's from your coworkers, random people, whatever. If you're in a bracket pool, you need to listen up. I'm going to run through 3 things that you need to know. Now, there are 2 types of ways to do this. One, if you're a mind reader and you know who's going to win, you got it all set, you don't need to watch this. Just pick all the winners and print your money. But for the rest of us, regardless of who you pick, you can set yourself up for an advantageous position, or you can be behind the 8 ball and have to get even luckier. And that's what I want to talk about here. There's a game theory aspect, and there are little things that we can do that can help us in our bracket pool. I want to welcome you to OddsShopper, all things betting here. If you like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's dive in. Tip number 1, pretty obvious, but I'm not going to overstate anything, and I don't want to gloss over anything. Understand what your tournament in terms of your bracket looks like. Are you playing against your family of 4 or 1,000 different people? In which case, how you construct your bracket is going to be drastically different. I'm going to bring up kind of an example or something that we can build around here. I brought up here ESPN. I'm on ESPN right now. They have a little section that's called Most Picked Champions. And right now, this is where it currently sits according to the fans. And there's no surprises on this list. UConn at 25%, Houston, UNC, Purdue, then a couple 2 seeds. But what stands out? Okay, a fourth of your pool on average has UConn. Another 12.5% has Houston. Right there, that's almost 2/5 of pools are going to have 2 champions. If you throw in UNC, you're talking about 50% of your pool with 3 teams as the winner. Does that mean you can't pick them? No. But what it does mean is that in a gigantic pool, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of entries that have these teams going deep and in these examples winning. And you can start to work backwards with these type of examples. If you want to leverage even going to a 2 seed as your champion, that is a massive, massive discount. You're talking about 5 times the amount of UConn winners as someone like Arizona or Iowa State in your pool. If you are in a large pool, I recommend willing to embrace some really aggressive things. Having a seed, not a 16, but you can have a 7 seed making a run. You can have a off the wall champion, a 2 or a 3 seed. If you're in a smaller pool, I think it is very prudent to go conservative, and you can have a UConn over a Houston and something of that because there's not as many teams to beat, and your combination will not be duplicated nearly as much. So we're starting very basic here, but I wanted to get that out of the way. Know the rules and know the size of your tournament, the payout structure, all the little things that really help to add up. Before I get to my second tip here, one that's I think actually my most interesting. I found this fascinating while I was doing this research. I do want to mention if you are playing in a bracket pool or betting the games, or honestly, you just want a community and to see some tools that can help you here, OddsShopper is $1 this week. 1 week of OddsShopper is a single dollar. Use the code MADNESS. The link is below. If you want to see these tools in action, I'll demo them at the end, give you a little sneak peek. But I had to mention that right off the top. Really, really cool stuff. We couldn't be more proud to have so many new people in there. It's a great time, and I can't wait for these games. So we've talked about most picked champions. We've talked about that game theory. I'm going to give you kind of a wacky, off-the-wall stat, and it has to do with the first 4. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you know the format of the brackets and how these things are constructed at this point, we know that on Tuesday and Wednesday, the teams that were right on the bubble have to play. Some of them are 16 seeds, and I think that's irrelevant, but there are 10 seeds in this case, Boise State and Colorado, that have to play, and the winner gets Florida, on Friday. They play Wednesday, and then they get Friday. On the flip side, you've got Virginia and Colorado State on Tuesday, and then Thursday, the winner will get Texas. Since 2011, only once has a first 4 team failed to win a game in the tournament. They win. It's as simple as that. Does that mean you just have to blindly take whoever the winner is of Virginia and Colorado State over Texas, or do you have to blindly take Colorado or Boise over Florida? No, absolutely not. But one of the advantages is think how many people have already made their brackets. They don't even know who the winner is. So what do? They say, oh, it doesn't matter because I'm going to take Texas over whoever wins. And the amount of people that will have one of the first four going deep is minimal, and you can create leverage here. And it's not to say these teams can't do it. We have seen multiple first four teams go deep. UCLA went to the Final Four. VCU made their crazy run. We have seen it time and time again. Do not gloss over Virginia, Colorado State, Boise, and Colorado. These are teams that are not just dangerous because of who the teams are, but because of how they are structured, people are not going to think about them because in order to really target them, you have to wait till their games are completed. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. A lot of people are not going to be comfortable with a first four team making a run. This is a very sneaky way to pick up some points on your pool, particularly if you like the teams. I wouldn't force it in, but I absolutely will be open to having one of the first four teams, maybe winning a couple games in this tournament. Colorado's a team I talked about on our bracket show. Me and Mac and Jessica on this very channel. You can check that out. But that is tip number 2. Do not ignore the first four games. They can be very, very powerful for you. So we've talked about size, payout structure, format of your pool. We've talked about the first four. Now let's talk about something that is overarching but very, very important. Seeding and using the betting market to your advantage. And what do I mean by that? Well, you can define upset one of two ways. First way is seed. If a 7 loses to a 10, that's a minor upset. The 10 seed's higher. Obviously, if a 14 beats a 3, big upset. No doubt about it. If a 9 beats an 8, is it an upset? I guess technically by the spread, by the seeding, but is it an upset by the spread? Are any of them upsets by the spread? This is something that a lot of people won't take into account, and you can get leverage again on the tournament. That's a word I keep saying, leverage. That's what it's all about when you're playing games and formats like this. I'm going to bring up FanDuel Sportsbook here real quick and just show you some examples. As we scroll through, we're going to see some games of varying nature. Some big spreads like a 15 versus a 2, no doubt about it. Clearly, a team like Arizona is supposed to win, and they probably will. But then a little interesting, like, okay, look at Illinois. Not nearly as drastic. Does that mean Morehead State's going to win? No, but they obviously have a bigger chance. Now we're getting interesting. What about this game? Oregon and South Carolina. Let's go back to our bracket for a second. Oregon and South Carolina, where are they? They're on the top right over, I'm sorry, in the bottom right over here. A 6 versus an 11. Wow, that would be an upset, wouldn't it? Barely. Look at this. A 1.5 point spread, and Oregon's taking the majority of the juice. This could be a pick'em by the time we get there. How about another example? Nevada and Dayton. That is a 7-10 matchup in the bottom left. Dayton is the 7 seed. So, but for a lot of casuals, okay, Dayton's slightly better. They should win. Not necessarily. Nevada's actually a slight favorite. The market is telling us Nevada is the favorite. And for Dayton to win, it would be a minor upset. You start to see these things and you start to see a discrepancy in perception versus reality. And that's what you're always after in bracket pools. Perception, the higher seed is better. Reality, Drake, Nevada, Oregon to a lesser extent, these are teams that are the higher seeds, and they're New Mexico, another perfect example. New Mexico is a 2.5 point favorite, minus 130 on the money line as an 11 seed versus Clemson. If New Mexico wins, there will be people saying upset. Not really. And you can gain a lot of advantage by looking at some of those and embracing them. And if you can project the potential lines later in the tournament, you can really, really create unique brackets when you're taking a team that's a 2-point underdog instead of an 8-point underdog, instead of a 12-point underdog. Because the reality and the truth is, when you're the underdog, you probably are for a reason, and you're probably not likely to win the game. It's all a sliding scale. But we want to take favorites if we can. We just don't want to be so chalky that we have no path to success. That is a really simple way to do some cross analysis and find teams that are undervalued, maybe by the casuals and by the seeding, and actually are favorite to win a game and maybe win multiple games in the tournament. So there you have it. 3 quick tips for being better prepared to win some money for brackets. Know the size of your tournament and the payout structure. Do not neglect the first 4. Those are dangerous teams. And use the betting markets to identify some seeds that may be actually favorite in their games. And you can get leverage and really get a head start on your entire competition. Again, link below for OddsShopper. If you have questions on what I talked about, at JazzRazDFS, and let me know some of your tips in the comments. If you have things that you've had success on the brackets, I definitely want to hear them. I'll be building plenty of brackets this week, and I can't wait to see it all get started. But I hope this was informative. If you want to see a preview of the actual games, our bracket show is live on this very channel. It's going to be a great week, everyone. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Good luck. Enjoy March Madness. I'll talk to you soon.